It's wonderful to be back here in the Brookfield Theatre where we met.
Yes, back in 1984.
Yeah.
I remember my sister telling me that there was a casting call for a show here, and a musical, of course, which is what I love more than anything. And I went out to try out, and at the auditions, I had this lovely woman standing next to me during the auditions. I'm sure you don't remember, but of course, you caught my eye. And as we got into the weeks in rehearsal, I got to be around you more often and talk with you. And after it took me like 3 weeks to get up the courage to even ask you out.
Do you remember our first show?
Oh, of course, my favorite. Day in Hollywood, A Night in the Ukraine. It was a show that was actually 2 shows in one. But, her name was Chico in the show, right?
Yes. Well, you know what comes right into my head? What? Follow me down the aisle of the Grauman's Chinese Theater. That was the opening of the show. That's another. There were a couple of fun bloopers in this show, but one of them was Michael, who played the Groucho Marx part, was during the show would hand me a piece of music, and he'd pull it out of his jacket pocket and hand it. He'd say, "Here, can you play this?" And I'd say, "Sure, boss." So one night on stage, he pulled air out of his pocket. He had forgotten to put the prop in, and I sat down and played it from memory. I had no idea it was memorized, but it was just another one of those theater moments. And I want to give a special remembrance to Helen Masterson, who was the wonderful director of that show, and she recently passed away not too long ago, and have wonderful memories of Helen. She was just a fabulous director, and it was a wonderful cast.
Fantastic cast.
Michael Gabinelli, who played the Groucho Marx character, he's a working actor in Hollywood, and everyone stays in touch over the years. Every show is like a family, and you do keep in touch and follow the other people, even if you don't see them that often. It really is a wonderful addition to our lives. And we had taken off some years to raise our 3 children and have our careers, but have come back to the theater in the last few years and been in a couple of productions together. We did a production of The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and I was the musical director, and Chris was one of the leads in the show. He played the sheriff. Another wonderful production, wonderful cast, wonderful director, Craig David Rosen. And it's an interesting thing, musical directing the person you love, the love of your life, and along with other people in the show. But I love doing it. I love working as a musical director.
She's an excellent musical director, and she has many years of experience in middle school as a music teacher dealing with children, so it's an easy transition to dealing with actors.
And high school.
In high school, well, yeah.
Theater has been such a huge part of our lives together, and our children have been involved in theater, which has been such a blessing for them as well as us. I love to come here also as an audience member. Most recently, I was deeply affected by a show called Blood at the Root. Blood at the Root was a straight play regarding it was based on a true story that happened down south regarding racism in schools. And it was thought-provoking. It made me think about things in a way I hadn't thought about them before, and I thought I was pretty well versed in current events. It's just another way that theater is so valuable. It really makes us think, and the stories it brings us into are so important.
Good.
Yeah. Another great thing about Brookfield is that they're not afraid to take on difficult projects. And one of my favorite things I've ever been involved with in my whole career anywhere was the production of Sweeney Todd, The Demon Barber of Fleet Street. That was here. It's a brilliant work. Where else would I get the opportunity to be part of a production of Sweeney Todd. Or someone has the opportunity to be part of Macbeth or Hamlet or some great work of theater. It's available here for people to be part of. You don't have to be working on Broadway to be able to touch and be part of these pieces. And I think that's so important.
JoJo and I met at callbacks for the Wild Party, and I think we were being considered for the same role, but I don't know.
Yes, we were.
For
Yes,
sure.
we were. So we were doing Andrew Lippa's version of the Wild Party specifically, and we were both called back for the male lead, which is Burrs. Burrs?
So we both remember this completely differently.
But it wasn't until the cast party where we were at a restaurant at Agora. Closing night, like we had just finished the show, like it was done so. The only thing we had to look forward to was the next day at strike. And I don't know, we're talking and our group of friends and everyone's just having a good time, and he's been like staring at me for 5 minutes. And I look at him and I'm like, hey, and then he just randomly kisses me. I was and then he immediately walks away as if he's dropping a microphone. Have we done another show together? Of course we've done another show together. In recent memory, last December, we did Dot at the Brookfield Theatre. Directed by this fabulous lady, I'm forgetting her name right now. I think Beth Young. Beth Young. We did this little known show named Dot by Coleman Domingo. And what a wonderful experience that was.
I mean, hands down.
So I'm a painter, and what was really exciting about the Brookfield Theatre was with every show, they like rotating a new artist to be presented in their lobby. This is something that we noticed even back during the Wild Party. It was really nice during those rehearsals to just see art on the walls. It wasn't stuff that was just bought for the theater and make it look pretty. It was, this is a person presenting themselves, and if you would like a price list, there's one at the counter where you can buy tickets as well. And so, being a painter, and especially being early into my painting journey, my journey as an artist is still ripe and youthful. But I tend to be a very kind of weird experimental artist. You know, a lot of people like my art, but it's I've never really found many places where I can commercialize it or put it in a space where people are going to see it. The reason I carried on with painting is kind of the same reason why I carried on with theater. You know, very early into my experience with theater back in high school, I got cast as a lead role. I was trusted with the lead role in Mary Chase's Harvey, and it's what really hammered home that this is something that I could do. This is a viable way for me to express myself creatively. People seem to like it, and I really like it. And, you know, Lou provided that kind of experience for me with painting, where she just wanted to give me a chance, just wanted to provide space for somebody to express themselves creatively. And I did get to sell them, because with every show, you get, if there are any you would like to sell, you can post a price, and I ended up breaking the record. I sold 6 paintings on that exhibition. And not only is that a cool thing to throw on a resume if you're, you know, trying to be a painter or anything, but like, how humbling that somebody wanted to give me the space, and I discovered that people would like my stuff more than I assumed.
Yeah.
People responded. And now I can say that I had a gallery exhibition, and it wasn't like this huge thing that I had to blow hundreds of dollars or know the right people for. It was part of the community for a little bit.
Yeah, I moved to Connecticut, and I had been there for about a month. Didn't have a lot going on. Heard there were auditions for American Idiot here, which is a show I wanted to do for a while. And I was like, oh, you know what, I'll meet people, and it worked out.
It was my first show at Brookfield as well. Although I'd known Beth for quite a while, she's a good friend of mine, Beth Bonnebeau, who's directing the show. So she's the one who convinced me to audition, thankfully, and it was a wonderful experience. I walked away with a lot of friends and a partner as well. So COVID struck shortly after American Idiot closed, so Noah and I were both asked to participate in some virtual productions, and I directed like a virtual cabaret, and then I directed a title show here last year. So I've just had nothing but incredible opportunities to explore myself as an artist and to connect with other people in the community and just to really witness the gem that Brookfield Theatre is and the connections that it can make between people and the community.
I like that Brookfield puts on shows that are a little off the beaten path. I think it's interesting, you know, I think of when I came here and saw Red, the play, I never would have heard about it, I never would have thought to see it, but it was here, and I like what they do here, so I came here to see it and I enjoyed it. And I think there's something to be said about a theater that is willing to give people, us, opportunities, not just as an audience to see something we wouldn't necessarily consider, but it gives the people involved in the production a chance to work on something unique and maybe push out of their comfort zone a little bit and grow as performers or lighting designers or the production team. And I think that's really special about Brookfield Theatre, that it gives people chances to do that.
There's the children's program, and you see how theater just inspires them, and it inspires the rest of us when we see how that can really help them to grow as people within our community.
Well, a lot of things, but I guess one of them is just meeting so many new friends. Like, I've met a lot of friends since I started coming here, and I'm just so happy to be a part of this community.
Everyone here is just really nice, and they get along with everybody, and it's just been so much fun.
One word I would use to describe this place is home, because it is my home away from home. Everybody's always laughing, and we're always getting work done. We're also having fun, and Miss Beth is not in the booth yelling at everybody. She's down here helping us out, and same with Lou or Andy. Everybody's here, and they're all kind of coming in and out. It's like one massive family, so it's my home away from home.
Being cast as Horton, it has been an exciting journey. I went from kind of really excited, and then back to oh no, I have a lot to do, and then straight back to really excited again.
I'm 7, and this is my first show, and I started liking theater when I saw my sister Janie and Maggie do it, and I just really liked it, so I wanted to join the musical so bad.
Family.
To me, the theater, it was everything.
You have Andrew Lippa's The Wild Party, which is a crazy show about a crazy poem that was written back in the 20s with some crazy themes, and they put it up, and it was fantastic. And then you had a show like Dot, not very well known, featuring a largely African American cast in this little town of Brookfield, and every night we had packed houses and who does that? Who else does that? And it's just the idea that they are willing to say, you know what, let's put something up there, let's tell stories.
Brookfield is it's a very special place. You want to be involved once you get to be part of something.
The Brookfield Theatre for the Arts is an amazing place where people can come together and explore what it means to be artistic, what it means to be theatrical, what it means to be in community with each other. In my time as president and artistic director is filled with incredible memories of wonderful people, talented people who, for many, were exploring their gifts for the first time, and for others, it was a lifelong commitment to the arts and to acting and performing. I have lifelong friends from the Brookfield Theatre for the Arts, many friends who have gone on now to their great reward in heaven, and many who I still see to this day. And I hope that it continues to live true to its mission, a place in the community for people to gather, and I hope hope it continues for a very, very long time.
The whispered conversations in overcrowded hallways. So much to say, not just today, but always. Feel the early morning madness. Feel the magic in the making. Why, everything's as if we never said goodbye. Yes, everything's as if we never said goodbye. Larry, you taught us all new ways to dream.